Hey guys, this is your Cloud Strategist channel. I'm Sridhar. In this video series, we have earlier looked at what CSP is. It's the Cloud Solutions Provider Program for partners. We looked at how partners can get started with Microsoft Partner Network by creating a Microsoft Partner Network ID, and then getting started with some of the agreements that would be signed by partners before getting started for CSP. We also looked at the different entities within the Microsoft ecosystem. That includes the partners, the customers, the distributors in the CSP world. In this video, we're going to look at what next. After having signed the CSP agreement, partners would want to get started on Azure. So let's look at what is Azure. Azure is an infrastructure as a service and platform as a service offering from Microsoft. There are a number of cloud providers in the market today. Azure is covering both infrastructure and PaaS service for customers and partners. But before we get going, you might want to understand what is infrastructure as a service and platform as a service. For this, what I'm going to do is to quickly show you an analogy and see if you can grasp that, right? Just imagine you were very hungry and you would want to go and get yourself something from your kitchen. And you walk in to see there's a bunch of raw materials up there in the kitchen, nothing yet ready for you to get started eating, and you're quite hungry. And if you're looking at my screen, you got these ingredients. What you would imagine preparing out of these ingredients, right? And imagination is your limit. You could get started and do your favorite dish out of these ingredients. But it depends on how much time you have, how hungry you are, how creative you are, and your familiarity with some nice recipes. But let's assume you got these ingredients. That looks slightly better, isn't it? And you almost know what you want to prepare. That looks like a ready-made pizza base. You've got your tomato ketchup and some of the other ingredients. The chicken is cooked and ready to go. That might make it much easier and quicker as compared to the other ingredients that you saw down there. But imagine I was too hungry, or you were too hungry, and you could grab your phone and call a nice food chain and order for a ready-made pizza. That's even more faster, and it's ready to eat. So that shows a bit of a difference in terms of convenience, time to get started, and the ease of preparation when you're really hungry for something. That's very analogous to infrastructure as a service at the bottom right there. Infrastructure includes raw server infrastructure, network infrastructure, storage, and whatnot for anyone who's willing to put a solutions together. But obviously you need to understand how to connect them together, how to put them together in order to achieve the solution need for your customer. Whereas on the other front, if it's the second one, that's similar to a platform as a service. Things are a lot more prepared and you are ready to put them together. Of course, you need to know how to put them together. But these are services which are almost ready to consume. You just need to put them together and get started with the solution. Things like microservices, things like IoT related services that are available, things like containers, things like ready-made services around applications, a web server that's ready to go so that you can start hosting your application, which is your web application. It could be a DevOps platform which is ready for you to get started on your development work. So all of that falls under the PaaS category. And of course, the SaaS category, which is the software as a service, is something ready to consume. Think of Office 365, think of Dropbox, think of anything that's ready-made, including your Yahoo email, which you might be consuming for quite a long time. So that's a very quick analogy, and you might readily figure out how easy it is to start consuming SaaS. You need a bit of creativity and understanding when you have to start doing something on PaaS, and you need a lot more time and energy if you have to get started on infrastructure as a service. Now that's the space where Azure is playing, infrastructure and PaaS. Let me show this diagram. And this is some of the services that are available within Azure. It does not encompass everything that's available now. There are hundreds of services within Azure, but this one is a high-level representation of some of the very common services that are relevant to a number of partner types. What you see at the bottom is the data center infrastructure. That's similar or analogous to somebody who's offering a co-location service to customers or to other partners. So these are typically data center providers. Azure has got very few services. Look up in the Azure website something related to that where you get dedicated infrastructure. But on top of that, as you see here, is the infrastructure services, which is an output of a hypervised software-defined infrastructure that's made available for partners and customers. So with that, you get virtual machines, you get storage, you get different type of networking components that you can grab and start building your applications on top. That includes also includes operating systems that are maintained and managed by Microsoft, so you don't need to worry about patching and updates, but you could get started with your applications. On top of that is where you're seeing the platform as a service component. Now, as I mentioned before, these are almost ready to consume services, but you need to put them together. And you could use them as tools for building your own applications. As you could see, some of the developer services, some of the services around IoT, the database services that covers SQL and other services like Redis Cache and whatnot. There are application platform components with which you could start building your web and mobile applications. There are serverless services that are available, like functions and microservices within the platform service layer. Other network related services, as you see, related to media services and integration into some of your business applications, all can be done as part of the PaaS platform. Now, that's a very high level information just for your understanding on what comprises of the infrastructure service, what comprises of the platform service. Just a step ahead of that. So if you're a partner of type, let's say somebody who's offering a data center service. Now, what could be relevant for you is to think of infrastructure services that you could combine, create a hybrid solution for your customer, all involving infrastructure service. So it's a good way to start that journey for your customers on the cloud by creating hybrid solutions. At the same time, you continue to use and leverage on your on-prem investments, and as the time goes on, you could think of eventually getting your customers fully onto the cloud. The type of partners like ISVs would be more interested in services like developer service and the other integration components with which they could continue to build their cloud-based application and reach out to a lot more customers much quicker with the value of cloud. If you were, let's say, a system integrator, or let's say you are a managed services provider, you fall somewhere between infrastructure as a service and as well as a platform as a service. So there is an answer for every type of partner in the Azure platform. All you need to do is make yourself creative and prepare yourself for creating solutions for your customer and ready to offer them through the partner model, which is the Cloud Solutions Provider program. I'll talk about more on how you get started with Azure subscriptions in the next video. Meanwhile, feel free to watch the earlier sessions if you have not, and also subscribe to the channel.